So let's get real for a second. When you think of Wolverine on the big screen, there's one movie that stands head and shoulders above the rest. Logan 2017. It's the film that redefined not only the Wolverine character, but superhero films in general. But now, we've got Deadpool and Wolverine 2024. Two newer films that try to take the character in new directions. So, let's talk about why Logan still reigns supreme in the Wolverine world, and why Deadpool and Wolverine 2024 don't quite measure up. First things first, Logan isn't just a movie, it's an experience. It's gritty, it's raw, and it's emotionally devastating. This isn't your typical superhero flick. Logan takes us to a future where our hero is old, beaten up, and no longer the invincible force we're used to. It's a man at the end of his rope. It's not just about claws and battles, it's about facing the consequences of a lifetime of violence. Logan is not just fighting enemies, he's fighting the person he's become, the legacy of death and destruction he's left in his wake. Hugh Jackman? Absolute legend. This is the most vulnerable, tortured version of Logan we've ever seen. And the film isn't just about Logan. It's about the legacy he's leaving behind, the bond with Professor X, and the relationship with X-23, who shows him that even in his broken state, there's still something worth fighting for. The emotional stakes are through the roof in Logan, and that's something the other films just can't match. Every scene carries weight, and you feel it. You feel Logan's exhaustion. You feel the fear in Professor X's deteriorating mind. It's raw, emotional, and it doesn't shy away from showing the reality of what it means to be a hero after all the battles are over. The movie's maturity and depth hit you like a punch in the gut. And when it comes to action, Logan doesn't hold back. This isn't some sanitized, flashy superhero combat. Logan's claws tear through enemies in the most brutal, visceral way possible. It's not just action for the sake of action. It's a reflection of Logan's pain. Every fight feels earned, every drop of blood means something. The action is brutal and raw, much like Logan himself. It's harsh, but that's the point. The violence isn't just there for spectacle, it's there to remind us of the cost of all those years of fighting, the toll it's taken on Logan and those around him. And that level of intensity is something we didn't see before in superhero films, especially when it comes to a character like Wolverine. This was Wolverine at his most broken, his most real. Now, don't get me wrong, Deadpool is a blast. It's hilarious, unpredictable, and the action is just as chaotic as the character himself. Ryan Reynolds absolutely owns the role, and his jokes and one-liners bring something fresh to the table. But here's the thing, Deadpool is a comedy first, superhero movie second, and while it's great for laughs and fast-paced action, it doesn't dig deep into the emotional aspects of the character like Logan does. Deadpool thrives on humor and absurdity, and while that's fun, it doesn't have the kind of emotional depth that Logan brings to the table. The stakes in Deadpool are often played for laughs, while Logan took everything seriously. Every moment felt like it mattered, like the stakes were life or death, not just for Logan, but for the world around him. It's fun, but it doesn't have the same soul-crushing depth. Logan is about the toll that being a hero takes on you. Deadpool? It's about breaking the fourth wall, making jokes, and not taking things too seriously. Sure, Deadpool has heart, but it's not Logan's kind of heart. It's more surface level, and that's the difference. Deadpool doesn't ask you to feel the weight of the character's past or his moral struggles. Logan does. And now, let's talk about Deadpool and Wolverine 2024. This movie had a lot of hype behind it, mainly because of the reunion between Wolverine and Deadpool. But does it actually live up to expectations? In many ways, it feels like a classic superhero movie, but it's much more centered around the dynamic between Deadpool and Wolverine. It's about getting the two characters together, having them clash, team up, and have fun with each other. The focus here is on comedy, the quick-witted banter, and Deadpool's usual antics. It's definitely fun to watch. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman have great chemistry, but that's where the movie's depth ends. Deadpool and Wolverine 2024 feels more like a popcorn flick than anything else. There's certainly action, but it lacks the gritty emotional intensity that Logan had. Instead of exploring the deeper themes of aging, guilt, and redemption, Deadpool and Wolverine leans heavily on humor and fan service. It's more about showcasing cool moments with Wolverine and Deadpool interacting, throwing in some big action sequences, and throwing in some wild laughs. Sure, it has its moments of heartfelt connection, especially when Logan shows that deep down he's not as cynical as we thought, but the movie never fully explores those emotional depths the way Logan did. Instead, it focuses a lot on the comedy, the absurdity of Deadpool's jokes, and the chaos that comes with mixing these two larger-than-life characters. It's fun, but it doesn't have the weight or the heart of Logan. It feels like the stakes are lower, the humor is more prevalent, and the action, while exciting, doesn't carry the same emotional punch. In Deadpool and Wolverine, Logan is back, but not in the same broken, vulnerable way we saw him in Logan. The movie doesn't go into the consequences of his violent past as much. The stakes here are more about the fight scenes and the laughs, not about exploring the emotional scars that Logan bears. It's a stark contrast to Logan, where every punch thrown felt like it was tied to a deeper narrative, a deeper struggle. So, when it comes down to it, Logan still reigns as the best Wolverine film. It's not just a superhero movie. It's a tragic, heart-wrenching farewell to one of the most iconic characters in comic book history. The action, the emotional depth, and the performances are unparalleled. It's a perfect send-off for a character who's been through so much, and it handles the legacy of Wolverine with respect and intensity. Every scene feels important, every character feels real. While Deadpool and Wolverine are fun and have their own strengths, they just can't match the emotional complexity, maturity, and raw power that Logan delivers. Deadpool and Wolverine has moments of humor and charm, but it doesn't take the risks Logan took. It doesn't dig deep into the heart of the character. It's a great film, but it's not a masterpiece. It doesn't leave you thinking. It doesn't make you feel the way Logan does. But hey, what do you think? Is Logan really the best Wolverine movie ever? Or do you think Deadpool and Wolverine have more to offer? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think.